Hey guys, we're gonna try to find a dirty starter. We've got I got four motor contactors here. I got two IECs. I got a Cutler hammer, definite purpose, and I got a NEMA size starter here. So we're gonna actually try to find one that buzzes. We're actually looking for one that buzzes. I got 120 volts going into my meter, so my my plugs here have 110 volt capability, so I have to work very carefully because right now both of these leads are hot. So we're going to go to A1 and A2 and check this contactor. It's a little buzzy, not too bad. We're going to check this one. That one's nice and quiet. Yeah, we don't have a noisy one there. Okay, we're going to unplug here and here because we don't want a couple of hot leads flying around. I'm just plugging them in my multimeter just to keep them out of the way. So these aren't too noisy. Let's see if we can, those aren't that old. Let's see, these are all takeouts here. So let's see what we got here. Maybe it got taken out because it was a chattery, noisy bugger. And this is a little more than a contactor. This is classified as a motor starter. What this is, you've got the contactor up above, and then what makes it a motor starter is the overload block below. But this is the portion up here that's going to get worked on. And this is a 110 volt coil. And let's see what we got going here. I'll just unplug these and go straight to the coil and see if we got a noisy one. But this is our coil up here on top. Those two terminals here and here, 120 volt. All right, so let's check this turkey out. Let's see if this this takeout is bad or noisy or whatever. All right, hot leads coming in. Nope, that's nice and quiet too. Alright, well, let's unwrap the other one. Maybe we got a bad one there. Alright, so we're 3 for 3. Let's see what this one sounds like. I wrap them up to keep dirt and stuff out of them because they're still good contactors. And I just keep them around for people that need a motor starter or something. I'll give it to them or use it for a repair or whatever. But these are all perfectly good motor starters. And this is, let's make sure this is a 110 volt coil. This is a 208 volt coil, so this one is not going to do us any good. We need 110 volt. That one's getting a little noisy. I guess you can hear that hum. All right, let me get my leads put away safely here. All right. Well, let's start by going through a Cutler hammer. Let's take this guy apart and see what it takes to clean up the starter. These should be the only tools we need here. Okay, so we've taken off the overload. This is the overload block. We've gotten that loose. And now we're down to just the bare contactor. You're going to want to remove any auxiliary contacts, which this has a time delay contact on the side. There's a small catch right here. And that just simply unsnaps. And if there's wiring on it and there's enough slack, just tilt that out of the way. Get it out of your way so you can work. And on a cutler hammer, you've got 4 pins right here. And these just are going to just pry out slightly. Everything's just kind of a pressure fit. There's no big mystery to these things. There's 2 on that side. And there's 2 on this side. And these are just paper thin, trying to get even a screwdriver in there. There we go. There's one side. And there's another one. Okay, so that's all 4. And we're going to lift the top off of this contactor. And this is going to expose the contacts and the coil. And you would have wires coming in here. So if you need to disconnect these, just loosen them and pull them off out of your way and just let them hang right there. Don't switch them, don't reverse them or anything like that. If you need to put numbers on them, put numbers on them. But then you're going to pull the top off of the contactor like this. And what that's going to expose on the back side, I'm going to flip it over. This is the coil contact block right here. And this is just a laminated electromagnetic coil. You're going to have your spring. And the coil itself, this is actually this is where I was touching the wires right here. This is the actual coil. And then you've got the other half of the laminated piece right here. And right here is where you get a dirty contact. These will be rusty, and this has to mate with these surfaces right here. So every time that contactor kicks in, these pull together like this. And that noise you're hearing is these chattering up against each other. So all you do is you take this, let me go get a little bit of sandpaper and I'll show you what to do with these. Be right back. Okay, and I'm back. And what you want to do here, I'm going to try to show you. So this wasn't too noisy, but there's a little bit of rust right there. These little laminated pieces that go in there in between the coil are just raw steel, so they do tend to rust, and they do attract metal chips and things like that. You just take a piece of sandpaper, lay it flat on the table, and just polish this guy. So you look like that, nice and clean. And then as far as this one, you can get it out if you really need to, if it's really bad. This one isn't too bad. You see we've got just a little bit of corrosion here and here. But what you can usually do, let me find some little, I just need a little piece of flat bar or something, and I'm just going to wrap the sandpaper on it and pass that across there and clean those surfaces. I'll be right back. And I'm back, and I just got a little piece of narrow flat bar that fits in between here. I'm just going to kind of put my sandpaper on there. I'm going to hold it very flat. And this is a lot like filing. So you just want to run it over there until you see nice clean metal. Now while it's apart, okay, now you see we've cleaned all 3 of those surfaces. And these are the 3 corresponding surfaces. And that we got a real nice connection when those 2 come together, and we don't have a bunch of dirt and stuff. So every time that magnet kicks, these guys pull in, and if there's any dirt or anything between them, it's a chatter that you're hearing. It's that buzzing noise. So if you've got a noisy contactor, that's the cause of it. Right there is the laminations around that coil. All right, and then just put it back together in reverse order and check and see what it sounds like. Okay, so we just put it back together in the reverse order. Freshly lapped laminated coil. We're going to put that back in the operating coil like this. Just drops in. There is a little rubber anti-chatter pad that kind of goes in the back, so that Just kind of tucks in there. It's pretty fancy. Actually, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So that lays in there. Then this whole Marianne just kind of goes down here. And then our contactor, we've cleaned here. And if you're going to blow out with an air hose, now's the time to do it. Get this all blown out, get that all blown out. Because every time that coil is energized, any little metal fragment or anything in the vicinity just gets sucked into it. So that magnet just goes, hey, come here. And then all the metal chips in your whole shop go heading towards this motor starter. So, and then now we're just going to snap it all back together. That's one side. There's the other side. All right, now we've got an assembled contactor there. And then if you've got auxiliary contacts or anything else on the side, go ahead and snap them back on. They just click on the side like that. But now we're going to go back to our power leads and see what kind of noise we get out of this thing. Nice and quiet. Okay, and here's another type of starter, and this is an older GE. This is looks like a 3-pole. Yeah, it's a 3-pole starter. And these old General Electrics are actually kind of cool. They've got a spring-loaded, right here it says lift and lift. And I'll show you what you do when you lift these. Just put a screwdriver behind it and lift that off like that. These are just got kind of a spring load. And then let's say lift here. Oh, I broke the plastic. Now let's just lift this. You lift that and slide that out of the way. And then this, the coil and everything just kind of comes lifting out of there. Now what happens when you do that, you're going to expose all the contacts, and you can see the condition of the contacts. It's not great. So those are the contacts, and these are all on each one of these is on a spring-loaded rocker, so that each contact has equal pressure. And then down inside, you'll see the contact blocks down inside. So this is just a sub base with a bunch of little contacts in it. Each one can be removed individually and polished or cleaned up or replaced, God forbid. I don't know whether you could even find these for these old GEs. But the coil assembly is right here in my hand. And let's continue to dive into this. And this is the coil right here that's floating. And there's a pin right here. This guy just comes out like this, sideways. So it's kind of a curved pin. And then you're going to lift that electromagnet right off the top of there. And then you're going to see half of the surfaces here, the contact surfaces. And then there's the coil. And then down here you're going to see the other half of them right here. So those are your 3 mating surfaces there. So before we clean it, let's put it back together and see what kind of noise it makes again. And maybe we can get a real noisy one. I'd like to get one that's making a bunch of noise so we can fix it. We haven't had any luck doing that. So let's drop this dude back together. General Electric goes that way. And then our contacts go there and there. So this is kind of cool. All right, and yeah, again, we got a working contactor. All we do is power up here and here, and we've energized this coil, and that pulls this that laminated electromagnet in, or turns that into an electromagnet. So let's power that up real quick. All right, so it's a little buzzy. All right, yeah, you can hear it pretty good there. I'm trying to be quiet for you. All right, let's clean that thing. And again, lift, lift, pull this out, pop a pin right here. Get back here. Electromagnet out, coil out, electromagnet out. So now these are the only two pieces we're going to clean. We're just going to take our sandpaper, polish here. And you can see all that rust that came off of there. Sorry, I'm moving the camera there, fellas. All right, clean. Same thing here. Nice and flat. All right, take a look at that. Nice and clean. Put it back together. Let's get all the lettering facing the same way this time. How's that? All right. Back in the contact block. Yeah, these old GEs were wonderful. They were so easy to work on. It wasn't even funny. All right. That's all put back together. Let's power it up and see what kind of noise we get now. I did not blow it out with an air hose. I probably should have while I had it apart. Come here, little fella. All right, powering up. That's pretty damn quiet. I don't know whether you guys can hear that, but I heard a definite difference. So I think we did good on that one. But that's what you do for a chattery contactor. All right, guys, thanks for watching.